What's cooking, ladies and gentlemen? We got a packed show for you today. We're talking Locatelli meeting. They're meeting today. We got Gosens interest. We've got Allegri happy with the squad that he has. What does that mean? What are the players that he's happy with? Who's he maybe moving in that we haven't seen play for Juventus, that Juventus owns, something like that. Then we've got Allegri's lineup. Who's his lineup that he's going to use going off initially? And then Rugani staying. But on top of all that, we've got plenty sprinkled in throughout it. Stay tuned and we'll fill you in. Ciao, Bianconeri. Welcome back into the Bianconeri Zone. I'm Justin Sofro. Today is Wednesday, June 23rd, 2021. And before we do anything, go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe button so that way you can stay up to date to all the news that we're dropping, as well as our new shows that we'll have coming out soon. But first of all, let's go ahead and get into it. First off, what we have is the news. Like I said, I'm getting repetitive at this time, but the news everybody's reporting on, which seems to be growing in anticipation for when the deal is going to be done, but is Locatelli. We've got Fabrizio Romano is saying that Juventus will open negotiations with Sassuolo for Manuel Locatelli, offering a loan with an obligation to buy, which is, I don't know if it's the first time we've heard of that, but the first time that's been like really kind of confirmed, which is a big deal because I think that kind of deal could work out for both clubs. Maybe Juventus could offer a little bit more than they originally would if they're going to be able to do a loan with an obligation to buy so they can pay it off in kind of in installments, similar to the Federico Chiesa situation with Fiorentina. They go on to say that Radu Dragusin could be included as part of the deal in the first official bid. The price tag remains 40 million euros. Then Di Marzio goes on to say Juventus and Sassuolo will meet today to talk about Locatelli. So that's actually confirmation that they will be meeting today, Wednesday, the 23rd of June, to actually talk about this. I know we had said about it could be at least Thursday would be the latest. So I thought it would be Thursday. I was wrong, but it actually is meeting today. Sassuolo value him at 40 million euros. The club do like Dragusin. So it seems like Dragusin will be the guy more than likely that is included in this deal. We kind of know this information. And then Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting today the meeting for Locatelli will take place with Juventus offering 30 million euros and Dragusin, who they value at 10 million euros, while we know transfer market values him more about 3.5 mil. So we'll see what kind of works with the club. Sassuolo values Dragusin at about 7 to 8 million. Okay, that is, I guess I should have finished that. So that is some new information. Transfer market says 3.5. If Sassuolo value him around 7 or 8, they might be able to get the deal done with this initial bid. If you got 30 million plus Dragusin, you're only about 2 million short. Juve will try to get Locatelli on a 2-year loan with an obligation to buy this to postpone the cost. So again, all beneficial for both clubs. I feel like when you want to be able to pay that as close to the full amount with what they're getting when they got Dragusin, who they value him at 7 to 8. So that's about 2 or 3 million short. To me, that seems beneficial for both sides, and it seems likely that maybe it'll get done then. But we'll stay up to. We'll obviously we're gonna stay eagle-eyed on this, and we'll keep you up to date with everything as it goes. That's everything that that we're all on the edge of our seat, just waiting for Locatelli deal to get done, just because of what he means for the future of the club, for the future of Italian nationals, etc. So that's an exciting one. Now, moving on to some news that'll give some of you guys hope. I know it's a big name, especially with a lot of our viewers or subscribers that enjoy him. It's Robin Gosens. Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting that Juventus continue to move for Robin Gosens. The club has not given up yet. Atalanta values him at 35 million euros. Inter, as well as Koeman's Barcelona, are also interested currently. So you definitely don't want to lose him out to Inter for obvious reasons. One of my thoughts that came by, and it may just be, an idiotic thought of mine, but why not try to work out a deal they're interested in? If Demiral isn't going to go to, a Premier League club, if they're really interested in Demiral, maybe try to work something out there. Again, I don't know how interested Demiral would be in going to, their last couple of years they've been, up there finishing in the top, 3, 4, whatever, with Atalanta. But what are the chances there that they might be able to work out a deal with him? So who knows if Demiral might be interested or not. But that's something to keep an eye on for now. And then Tudo Sport is talking about Allegri and that he is actually pretty content with the squad that he has. I'm not, but I'm glad he is. Maybe he can figure. Maybe we know what Allegri can get done. I understand. It may not be the most exciting football that you've ever watched, but of course, I'm honestly with some of the results that we've seen the last year, and then the last few months of last season, of the season before that, I would be more than happy winning 1-0 or whatever it takes. Just win the match. I don't care. I mean, I understand there's some people who want, flashy, whatever football. I'm just happy with a victory, to be honest. But anyway, they're saying that Allegri is happy with the big parts of the squad. He is adamant that players like Rabiot and Danilo could thrive under him while reviving Bentancur after a bad season. I'm starting to become, Rabiot's kind of proven himself a lot near the end of this last season or so. So I'm on board him enough as well. I would still, if another club were wanting to purchase him or whatever, I'd be fine with that as well. But Rabiot's really proven himself. I feel like down the stretch there that he actually can be an integral part of this. Danilo did well as well. I really liked Danilo when I saw him playing. Actually, when they moved him up into the midfield, he actually had some really good performances. When I was doing ratings, I really noticed that as well. So that's basically what our squad looks like. If you look at it, I think I have it over here on the graphic that I'll pull up. Basically, a lot of what the squad is looking like is what we're going to have is not that different from last season. Here we got, Szczesny in goal. Wish it was Donnarumma. Anyway, and then you got De Ligt, you got Chiellini, then you got Danilo and Alexandro. I know a lot of people aren't super thrilled with Alexander and his performances, but he is in there. And then it looks like in the midfield, you got Chiesa on the wing, you got Locatelli, and then you got Rabiot there with him, as well as Cuadrado there. So, and then you got Ronaldo starting. We'll see what the Ronaldo saga unfolds and what happens there. If it'll be him or it'll be maybe Morata. Maybe somebody else down the line. But so not a lot of changes there, really, when you look at it. So maybe we'll see what comes from there, who we may be getting, how that might change. Hopefully it'll change. I'd like to see at least 2 new fresh names, including, like Locatelli, maybe Pogba, but anything like that. So just something to be mindful going forward. And then we move on to the next bigger story, is not bigger story, but a new, fresh story that we have. Calcio Mercato is reporting that Juventus have tried to anticipate everything by starting talks with President Ferrero for Damsgaard. At the moment, it is only to understand the feasibility and cost of the operation. So it's not super solid, it's not a solid offer or anything like that that's going to be made. But Sampdoria values him at 25 million euros. So if we pull up his transfer market information and stuff like that, he's really only valued at about 13 million euros by transfer market. Again, sometimes those things can be off, but it's a 12 million euro difference. Sampdoria want for him. He's he's a 20-year-old, so he's young, obviously that, and he's a winger. He's a left winger. I don't know how much that we really need a winger right now, especially when we have other things that we can fill in, especially when we have, Chiesa, you got McKinney who can play those roles, at times, especially. So that's something to look at going forward. Just a name, like I said, it's nothing. I'm not going to dive too much into it, just because it's not really proven to be a solid, solid option going forward. It's just they're putting out feelers for now. So just maybe, who knows? It may not even be really this season. Maybe next season or the season after, you'll see Juventus continue to bring this name up. Then Messaggero. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. My eyes are I put it in my contacts. I can barely see it. Anyway, so it's messing with me. Anyway, they're reporting that Gianluca Mancini could be a possible deal for the defense, an idea for the defense. The player will meet with Roma in the coming weeks to talk about a new deal with his current club. And if it's not conclusive, Roma could think about selling him. So it's not a bad option, especially if you're looking for a replacement there in the defense. He's a center back. Sorry, I'm pulling up his information while I'm here. And he's a center back. He's valued at about 30 million euros, and he's 25 years old. So, solid. Like I said, he's right in the middle there. That's a good, comfy, healthy, defensive player. And also, if he can continue to develop, or if he's just, comfortable playing in that center back role, he, could be good going forward. You see plenty of options of players that play well into their mid-30s or so. So just an option to keep an eye on, see what goes on with him going there. Let me know your thoughts on him. I don't have a strong opinion of Mancini, so let me know your opinions on him, of the player, if he would be a good option for Juventus. If not, let me know as well. I'm sure you will. Moving forward, though, we have El Bianconero is reporting about Rovella. They're saying the idea of having Rovella available immediately is liked by Allegri. So it's not the first time we've heard this. It keeps coming up a lot, it seems, that he might be an option to actually join the first team, especially not if he's not being included in the deal with Dragustin or whoever, or instead of Dragustin for Locatelli. Anyway, they're saying that he was liked by Allegri, who was thinking of a new young midfield with Locatelli, born in 1998, Bentancur, born in 1997, and Rabiot, born in 1993. The Rabiot one kind of not throws me off, but like I was born in 1990. He was born in 93, so he's not. I mean, he's younger, but he's not that much younger. Regardless, Rovella is an alternative. He could be part of a preseason where Allegri will make a decision. So it's just something to keep an eye on. I could definitely see it be another one of those situations where Rovella's pulled up and you see him for the first few weeks or so, and then he's loaned back out shortly after. So just something to keep an eye on. And then we've got the whole, I kind of already went over this a little bit, but Tutto Sports reporting that about the new system with Allegri being installed at Juventus. It's saying that a lot depends on the future of Ronaldo. Allegri is fine with him staying or leaving either way. It looks like Max has his system in mind, which is a 4-2-3-1. We got, like I said, I'll go back over it. Again, it's kind of what I was saying, but it's Szczesny, and you got Danilo, De Ligt, Chiellini and Alexandro. Then you got Rabiot and Locatelli, and then you got Chiesa, Dybala, Cuadrado, and then you got Ronaldo up front, and then you have Kulusevski coming in for Dybala, and you have Morata coming in for Ronaldo, subbing him off. Like I said, not vastly different. I don't know if really one. I mean, Locatelli is a big difference maker. I don't know if just one replacement with him is enough to really change the forecast for the season. Of course, you got some changes in Serie A with so many coaches being replaced. You got Conte leaving, so we don't know what Inter will look like without him. They still have Lukaku for now, and players like that, so they're still going to be strong. But just, how will this look going forward into, guide Juventus back to that Scudetto win and then onward? Let me know your thoughts if there's certain players that you'd like to see interchanged with this lineup that we have reported by Tutto Sport. And then the goalkeeper situation's brought up. Tutto Sport's also saying that Perin expressed his desire to transfer to Fiorentina. Everything, however, depends on Rukowski's future, who was liked by Inter. So that's an interesting looking forward. I don't know the situation. I'd imagine that would be one where it'd be more of a loan. It wouldn't be a sale, but then there are options with Fiorentina where they have Vlahovic, they have Milinkovic, they have these players that, are liked by Juventus. Would you use Perin? I don't know right now because the goalkeeper position with Juventus is kind of a question mark. I don't know if you'd be willing to risk giving up that player currently when you could have him as a backup, or, God willing, something happens, you'd have to have him step in and call him back. Well, that'd be before the season, obviously. So this is something to keep an eye on. Right now, it really depends on Rukowski's future with Fiorentina. Also, El Secolo is saying that Aldero remains an option to become the backup goalkeeper. However, Sampdoria value him at 20 million euros. So another name to keep an eye on. 20 million euros, maybe a little high for him. So we'll see where they go with that. Let me know if there's a goalkeeper that you would like to see. I honestly would not be. I still wouldn't hate the idea of Sirigu coming to Juventus, especially when I've seen a lot of reports saying that Cairo is basically done with him and, kicked him out or whatever. I'd be more than happy to see him come and back us up. Going on back to the left back position, we bring up Romeo Agresti, who is saying that I think Alexandro will stay. He knows the club and the coach. Allegri wants players that are ready right now. The club denies that they're interested in Mitchell Bacher. Michel, maybe let me know if you know a better way to say that. That's the way I'm pronouncing it. I'm not super fluent when it comes to pronunciations of Netherlands players, but are interested in him from PSG. So the club's denying that. I'm not saying I'm disappointed, but I kind of like the idea of Bacher, mainly because I think it would be really good chemistry wise to add in a player like that who has experience playing, alongside De Ligt in the defense for their national team. That's just an idea for me. Maybe it doesn't mean as much as I'm putting weight into it right now, but it would be interesting to see how they could, be cohesive playing together, especially compared to like Alexandro, who he's had some decent games and decent moments. I think he had. I'm terrible at remembering the exact game or whatever. But when he scored those 2 goals for Juventus to win the match earlier or near the end of the season, or maybe midway, he's had a couple of those moments. But overall, I go back to, was this against Porto as well? I remember, Bentancur always gets called out for the matches, the match against Porto by me. But I remember Alexander was also wearing this shirt that I'm currently wearing. And I remember Ronaldo was standing right there. Ronaldo was had saved a possession, was dribbling it, taking it down, I believe it was the left side. And Alexander literally turned around and just stood in his way and literally blocked the ball from Ronaldo out of bounds. It was the most confusing thing that I've ever seen. I wish I would have gotten a screenshot of it. Fortunately, because of YouTube's rules and Serie A's rules, I couldn't really play it on here. But I just remember that's something that always sticks out with me with Alexandro too. So I wouldn't hate seeing somebody to replace him. Let me know your thoughts. I fluctuate back and forth when it comes to Alexandro because he's had moments where he's kind of proven himself, but then he's had these blunderous moments that I don't know what he's doing out on the field. And then the last bit of news that we have for you today involves Rugani. Super exciting. His agent was talking with Tudo Juve, and his agent said that Rugani's relationship with Allegri, the managers, and his teammates have always been excellent. As of today, Daniele is, to all intents and purposes, a Juventus player and is ready for the comeback. Here is a very good relationship with the Juve directors, both on a human and professional level. So far, no one has told us that we are not part of their plans. Sounds more like a threat than it is a positive statement given. But, I think you're working those legal bounds because, yes, Juventus must pay him, that he is part of the team, whatever. I don't know that I'm very high or that I truly believe that that's a player that Allegri will desire to bring back to Juventus and, play a big role for the club this season. But it is something to keep an eye on going forward. Like I said, I just remember the 2019-2020 season and how terribly he played and how he was literally a liability every time you had him on the field. Juventus was getting scored on. So to me, I don't want to see him back playing for Juventus. I'm happy to see him go and make his money somewhere else, even, while being loaned out by Juventus. But I just don't want to see him next year wearing a Juventus uniform. Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure you have plenty of them. When it comes to Rugani, as well as Alexandro, all the other players we talked about, give us your opinion. Is there anybody that maybe I talked poorly about that you think actually can play better? I understand there's a lot of Bentancur lovers as well still, and I get it. He has had moments to prove that he can do something. But as it stands right now, I wasn't super impressed with the way the season ended, or actually with the whole season that he really gave Juventus last year. Maybe it takes a certain kind of coach to get that out of him. But that's all the real news that I have for you today. Make sure to check in with us tomorrow to get the latest update regarding all Juventus news. It seems right now things are coming pretty hot and fast. You're going to get, definitely a Locatelli update tomorrow. Will they make a deal? Will the deal be done today? Who knows? Hopefully there'll be a deal done, and then we can talk about it and celebrate that, and then move on to the next guy, because that's what we're going to do. But be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, stay up to date with all the information. It's way easier if you're subscribing and the videos. And if you like the videos, you can definitely help us to grow our presence, and then definitely the more we can offer you going into the future. Really, the growth of the channel really it can do a lot for what we can bring to you in the future, and we're excited about that. Don't forget to hit that bell to stay up to date with all notifications going forward. As soon as the video drops, you'll get a notification on your phone. That way you'll get the news while it's still fresh and hot before it's gotten a little musty. Go ahead and follow Bianconeri Zone at Bianconeri Zone on Twitter and Instagram, and follow me on Twitter at Justin Sofro. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri, and Forza Azzurri.